Another first on the channel, everybody, and welcome back. Our first head-to-head, face-to-face, dial-to-dial, whatever you want to call it, competition between Citizen and Seiko, two Asian big boys on the block, so to speak, as far as dive watches are concerned. So let's dive in, if you will, a little pun intended. Let's start with the Seiko. I'm going to review everything from the unboxing to the what I call the ownership experience, wearability, my view on everything. Ta-da! That is the Seiko SRPD 51 in a beautiful blue dial. Very nice. They list this at 13.4 millimeters thick, 42.5 millimeter diameter, 22 millimeter lugs. Let's measure that real quick. It is a very pretty dial on this one, I will say. Kind of a sunburst look. I get 41.8-ish, 42-ish, right at 42. Thickness, I think it comes out about the 13.5. Very, very close. Like I said, 22 millimeter lugs. Not a screw down crown. This is a display case back where you can see that awesome Seiko 4R36. This one has approximately 41 hours of power reserve. Let me give you that bezel action. Classic Seiko. If you can hear that. It's pretty good. Nice firm clicks. Nothing amazing, but lines up. I ran this through the time grapher. It was within plus or minus 10 seconds, give or take. Very consistent. Has a little micro adjust. Of course, not a signed crown. Seiko's famous for that. And again, not screw down. 22 millimeter lugs. That famous, or maybe infamous at this point, Seiko bracelet. It is a jingle jangle bracelet. I don't know if you can hear that, but yes, it is a classic Seiko. It wears very well. It's very comfortable, nice rounded edges. It's nothing amazing. The lume is good on it. Of course, it is a Seiko. And at the end of the video, I'm going to try to give you an actual picture of both of these together. Now let's look at the Citizen. As far as an unboxing is concerned, you'll see right out of the gate that the Citizen takes the lead, and I will say, because the packaging on this Citizen, very different. And as a matter of fact, quite a cut above. This comes with warranty material, all of that right here, in a really cool little outer box, plus an inner box that is an actual replica little scuba tank. And ta-da, of course, these are both dive watches. This is from their ProMaster line. These are both massive multi-billion-dollar companies. They produce lots and lots of watches. Seiko has been around since 1881, I believe. Citizen, I think, is newer, was it 1920 or 30, when they initially launched 1930 by, well, from what I read, both Japanese and Swiss investors. And both companies' global market is pretty similar. It's in hundreds of billions of dollars for each one of them. And of course, Citizen famous for making a few of the movements that everyone sees out and about. So let's take a look. Let's dive into the Citizen screw down crown, we feel. It is signed. This one is listed as far as the specs online are concerned. This one is the movement is caliber 8204. It does not have a display case back. It is solid. You see signed tabs there. The dimensions listed online are 20 millimeter lug width. We have 41 millimeter diameter and 13 millimeter height. Let's test that real quick because I got something a little different. 41.3, so a little more than 41. But the height is the thing that I thought was very different. 13.8, almost 14. That's substantially different from what they list as 13. And I will say you can actually see the way it stands up a little more proud, a little taller than the Seiko. You can see that there, but the lugs curve a little bit differently. It has this little edge versus this smoothed over edge. Just a little bit of difference in the cases. Loom clearly is different, but that dial, the texture on that dial, very cool. And the green look of the loom, and I'm gonna try to show everybody the loom. When we get around to it, oh, actually you can see that pretty well as a matter of fact. I don't know if that works, but I will show a picture at the end. Let's do the bezel action on this one. Not as clicky, a little more clunky actually. Of course, this is an older one. Fewer clicks, of course, but well done. I do like the color. I like the contrast. I like the texture on the dial. As far as the dials are concerned, gosh, it's kind of a toss-up. It's just subjective. The sunburst look on that Seiko, very classy look. The Citizen is slightly heavier. I didn't measure them, however, they're pretty darn close. I will say this, when it comes to the bracelet, is really what I believe separates these two. And one of the reasons is, as you see right here, this one has an on-the-fly adjustment. Ta-da! Every watch these days should have this. If it has a clasp like this, I just see no reason why they can't add that in at this point. It just makes sense. There you go. So you can adjust this on the fly to your wrist if it swells, etc. I will say the bracelet in general actually even has just a little better feel. It is also jingly jangly, but not as much as the Seiko. It just has a little bit nicer bracelet. I think as far as the dial is concerned, maybe the Seiko takes a slight edge. I don't know, it's very difficult to choose, really. One's a little more scratched up, of course. That Seiko's been through the ringer. Let's try them on, let you see them on my wrist. I've got that classic tag, professional from early days, early 2000s right there. Love that thing. Let's try on the Seiko. Everyone has seen this watch around, seen videos, etc. Try it on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. That's a classic Seiko. Great look, great watch, comfortable, durable. Let's get I don't think I covered the water resistance. I think that the water resistance is only 100 meters in the Seiko, whereas it's 200 meters in the Citizen. If that's important to you, of course, the Citizen wins out. I guess I would give them an extra point for that. Heritage, of course, Seiko been around longer, but I don't think that they're really beating Citizen as far as heritage is concerned. At least if they are, not by much. There is that Citizen on the wrist. Again, you see that easy to adjust. Ta-da, expand, contract, so nice. Both durable, excellent, reliable, and rugged watches. Both running within about 10 to 12 plus or minus seconds off on the time grapher. The lug width difference, it does. I think it makes a little bit of a difference. Even though the Citizen is heavier, the bracelet is wider. It changes the way it feels, I guess, overall. As far as comfort is concerned, the case design on the Seiko, I think is a little more comfortable. However, because of the adjustable bracelet on this one, I think the Citizen just wins out by a hair. If people don't like how high they stand up, I think the Citizen stands up a little taller on the wrist. However, as I always say, your mileage may vary. Both excellent watches. Well done, Seiko. Well done, Citizen. I love this brand. I have been wearing Citizen watches for a long time. The very first nice watch that I ever got was this Citizen right here. And I'll do a separate review over this bad boy because that is beautiful. Been running over 25 years. Still, there you go, keeping time. Citizen Eco Drive, of course, they're famous for that. And of course, Seiko does have their own well done, light powered solar type system. However, I think Citizen really beats them out on some of the tech. They've got the radio controlled watches, etc. I'm been blown away by them. So I don't know. I would call it a toss-up. Really, too many subjective items to truly nail it down. They both have their strengths, but the dial on that Seiko, super sharp. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody.